We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
Hey guys, it's been a long dream for me to visit the Kennedy Space Center out there in Florida, and through this video I would like to share my joy with you in experiencing this wonderful place. So we were welcomed into the Space Center with this toll booth kind of structure where we paid $10 as the parking fee. Parked our car and headed further, and the red rocket that you see is actually an external fuel tank and the boosters, and we started walking towards the ticket counter. Don't forget to check the daily schedule so that you can plan your day ahead. Also, a detailed structure of the admissions and passes are given here. You can also check this all out online, or you can come here and book the tickets. By the way, it costs around $78 with tax. You see in front of you is where the security checks happen, and behind it, if you see those rockets, it's called as a rocket garden. Namely, these rockets are Juno 1, Juno 2, Delta, Delta 2, Saturn 1B, Atlas Agena, Gemini Titan 2, Mercury Atlas, and Mercury Redstone. You see here is a Saturn 1B rocket. It was the first rocket to launch with crew on board. Then we headed for the guided bus tour, which was included in the ticket fare. One of the other things that intrigued me is the bus floor. It gives you a feel like you're walking on the moon. It is customized in such a way.
Our journey will take us past active facilities and end at the visitor complex's own Apollo Saturn V Center.
But before we begin this journey, just like every NASA mission, our number one goal is to return home safely. So always stay seated while the bus is in motion. Please, no food or drink.
The building that you see in front of you is called as the VAB, or the Vehicle Assembly Building. It is one of the largest buildings in the world by volume.
Construction of the VAB required 65,000 cubic yards of concrete, 45,000 steel beams, 1 million steel bolts, amounting to almost 100,000 tons of steel.
The flag that you see on the building is one of the largest in the world. The blue field that you see is almost the size of a basketball field. The stars are 6 feet wide. Path that you see is called as a crawler way, and it is a path that runs between the vehicle assembly building and the 2 launch pads at the launch complex. If you look carefully, you can see the crawler or the crawler transporters, which are a pair of tracked vehicles used to transport spacecraft from NASA's Vehicle Assembly Complex to the launch complex. These vehicles weigh close to 3,000 tons and can only move close to 1 mile an hour.
In a few short moments.
Man took off to fly to the moon. It was a journey that began 12 years before that rocket ever left the ground. And it started on the other side of the world. Back then, we were one of two superpowers that always seemed to be on the edge of a terrible war. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched the first ever man-made satellite into Earth orbit. They called it Sputnik, which means traveling companion. In a world where peace hung in a delicate balance, it seemed to create a dangerous advantage. Every ham radio operator in America could hear a beat.
Please watch your step and use the handrails on the stairs.
At this hour here at Cape Kennedy, they still plan to go ahead with it, to send 3 men.
We were making up for it in one big leap, and we were doing it with a rocket that no man had ever flown before.
This is launch control. T-minus 3 minutes and counting. We've completed our communications checks with the Apollo 8 astronauts in the cabin, and communications are go. During this period, once we do get the firing command, the boeing will transfer shortly. We have the power transfer. We're now on the flight batteries within the launch vehicle. Final reports coming from Frank Borman at this time. Final look at the switches aboard the spacecraft. 20 seconds, all aspects.
What we just saw was the launch of the first crewed NASA mission to the orbit of the moon in 1968 aboard the massive Saturn V rocket at the Firing Room Theatre. And here's a spectacle of human engineering and space travel, the Saturn V rocket, the type of rocket that launched humans to the moon. It is 363 feet long and it is 60 feet taller than the Statue of Liberty. And also have a look at the Navlog card and the flight plan of the mission. There was also a beautiful touch screen representation of the stages of takeoff, which of course added to the experience. And this is the Lunar Rowing Vehicle, or the LRV, which is a battery-powered 4-wheeled rover used on the moon in the last 3 missions of the Apollo program. this is the orbit module or the command module where the astronauts used to be in. So this is a lunar rock sample which you could touch and feel. Have a look at the cockpit interior. It's an amazing cockpit that was built at that time.
Just a look at the waterways, particularly off to the right.
Efficient and cost-effective way, while NASA engineers offer oversight and expertise, while these companies
The local power grid. And if you take a look out the front of the box,
Here at the Atlantis building, and what you see here is an external fuel tank and the rocket boosters of the Atlantis. This is the mighty, beautiful space shuttle Atlantis, which is a space shuttle orbiter vehicle. By the end of its final mission, Atlantis had orbited the Earth a total of 4848 times, traveling nearly 126 million miles, which is more than 525 times the distance from the Earth to the Moon. The Hubble telescope is also in display. And this is the cockpit on display of the Atlantis space shuttle. Ever wondered how the toilets in a space shuttle looks like? Well, you can have a look. And also the treadmill on which the astronauts used to train on is on display. This is what an astronaut's room looks like. What you see on the left is actually the bed in which the astronaut sleeps. I felt proud to see the remains of the Indian astronaut Kalpana Chawla. That's the end of my day at the Kennedy Space Center. It took us 6 hours to cover the whole place, and finally I ended my day at the gift shop. Thanks guys for watching. Take care.